I was trying to find my read. I'll just freestyle it. Welcome to the Freeman Mazda post-game show. Cowboys get the victory, 51-26. Drop the 50 burger.
Yes.
The second 50 burger of the season, and this one against our division rival, the Philadelphia Eagles. And I don't give a dang who was in there, and we'll talk about that here in a quick second. But yes, this is the Freeman Mazda post-game show presented by Freeman Mazda, our good friends over in Irving, Texas, who have been a family-owned, operated business for over 60 years.
Yeah.
You feel me? Yeah, and they got new inventory daily.
Come on.
The Mazda CX-5, but I drive
the what?
The smooth Mazda 6. Got some style, some luxury to it without that luxurious price.
Yes.
Right? That's what I got. And it was a lot of good drives today by the Dallas Cowboys. So make sure y'all check out Freeman Mazda at freemanmazda.net or hit them up in Irving, Texas.
We get paid, baby. They gonna cut the check. My boy did that freestyle.
I ain't had time to go through it. But that's because I'm happy that, Cowboys came away, seemed to be scotch-free injury-wise. They went in there. They got all the records that they can get. They dropped 51 on the Philadelphia Eagles. And just for those who may say, oh, well, it's against the backups for the Eagles and stuff like that, I just got one thing to tell y'all here. We don't care.
We don't care.
I'm here to tell you right now.
We don't care. I don't care, bro. I don't care. It's 51. It's the Eagles. I loathe them, Jesse.
Yeah.
So this feels good to me, and it's a sweep. It's a clean sweep. 6-0. The Cowboys run through the NFC East. They run the NFC East and finish the regular season 12-5, and they get that momentum we were talking about heading into the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk about putting up 50 points on the backup squad. It reminds me, I'm a date myself a little bit. And but you're like a football Cowboy historian.
Sure.
Back with the Buddy Ryan days when they had the holdout and the lockout. And they had a bunch of scabs, the scab game, right? And all that kind of nonsense.
What kind of a scab game?
I know, that's what I'm saying. So I like that. Go back and run that thing up. Anytime you get a chance to whoop up on the Giants, those trash bums in Philadelphia, in Washington,
whatever they is,
and those rude bleep 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 in Philadelphia, you do so. Like, you do so at all costs. There is no, hey, we're taking our foot off the gas. Hey, we're going to take it easy. When you get a chance to run it up on these dudes, you do exactly that. And the Cowboys did tonight. And this is what we wanted to see, right? We wanted to see the offense. Could they find their rhythm? We talked about it in the basketball terms. I want to see the ball go in the net. I want to get a couple layups. I want to get a couple free throws, get my momentum, get my rhythm back so that I can go into this next week getting ready for the playoffs.
Yes.
With a bit of confidence. And it really, truly goes a long way in the psyche of each one of these players when you go back and you say, hey, Dak had, 4 or 5 touchdowns? 5 touchdowns in the game. Cedric Wilson, over 100 yards. Amari Cooper got the ball again and got involved. Zeke Elliott, he's 1,000-yard rushing this year. He got the rushing that he needs for the season. So you kind of hit all these milestones.
Hit all of them.
All of these milestones. And on top of that, you break a record for the most touchdown scores by different players on your football team.
Yep. Records galore were broken today.
That's a good feeling heading into this week.
Yeah,
it gives you a springboard of momentum of just the good mojo that you can have and say, yo, we all right, we good. Now, we don't want
there's context,
right? We don't want you riding high and forget that you got an important game coming up this week. But enjoy this moment because what people sometimes fail to realize, the amount that it takes to get to a season and get through a regular season. So, and I get people saying, well, get Zeke out. Like, I worked really hard to get 1,000 yards. You know what I'm saying? Like Zeke saying, I put in a lot of work to get to that point, right? And Dak the same way. All these guys put in a ton of work, and so to get these, momentous type of achievements is something that you work for. You work for these things, and winning the game on a high note, in the season on a high note, is something that you work for all year long. And so they deserve it. They got it. But now it's time to enjoy this for the night.
For the night. Not even for 24 hours.
For
just
the night. And then turn your attention after those games are finished tomorrow to let's lock in.
Play. Yeah. Yeah, we talked about it in the pregame show. This really wasn't for the fans. And fans, we can enjoy it too, but for me, this was mostly for the players. I think they needed to come out here, find some rhythm, get some mojo, get some confidence. Doesn't matter who they play, it's how you play. I'm gonna keep saying that because as a player, you want to go into the playoffs like, all right, I came off the season feeling good. I didn't come off the season with a stinker. And the Cowboys finished the season 5-1, I believe, in their last 6 games, granted against whoever they played, whatever. And then they lost that nail biter to the Cardinals last week. But tonight, again, they checked everything. Dak, 21 for 27, 295, 5 touchdowns, broke the record. Check.
Yep.
Ezekiel Elliott gets his 87 yards, 1,000-yard season. Check. Hell, we even saw Cedric Wilson come in and show that, all right, y'all, Michael Gallup's not here, but we can do some things with me.
Have no worries.
And they broke the record for, like you said, most touchdowns by individuals on one team in a single season. 22 different individuals scored the touchdown.
And that's offense and defense.
Offense and defense for the Dallas Cowboys this year. That's amazing. And I think they knew that record was in tow because they brought in – well, once Clement got his touchdown, then they brought in Lito Smith. And then they brought in Jaquan Hardy to get these touchdowns. And I thought that was fun and awesome. This is one of those games, right? One of those fun games where if you play Little League, you get in and you're up 50, they start putting you on a defensive line. If you're a receiver, the big men go play running back and things like that. It became that type of game later on. Fun. Have fun, but get out of here safe.
Absolutely. And the thing for this team offensively, and I don't want to be a flip-flopper because a week or two ago I was saying, well, this thing has flipped. This team now is led by the defense, and this thing is all go for the defense.
No, I'm still going to ride with that.
You're still going to ride with that?
Mm-hmm.
You don't feel comfortable with saying maybe the offense is back in charge again?
After this? I shouldn't say after this. I made it sound like, well, what happened? Context. Right? Yeah. Context.
But the context is – you really you gave up 150 yards rushing, 4.5 yards a carry. You didn't do much as far as in the air. It was for me, and again,
talking about defensively.
Defensively, yeah. I'm saying Micah Parsons not being there, and you
Trayvon
Diggs, all that kind of stuff. Brown. But you look at just some of the aesthetics up front. They was pushing these boys around. They was pushing these boys, and I think to what, for example, if we play Arizona. They'll have their left tackle back, which they didn't have the last game. They may or may not have DeAndre Hopkins back. I'm not sure on that. I'm sure somebody will tell us.
See, with Arizona, that's
James Conner will be back.
Yes, but see, with Arizona, based off what I saw, they didn't get pushed around against Arizona. You know what I mean? Like Arizona only averaged 2.9 yards per carry, and that's only because Murray in the fourth quarter ran for a couple yards. So they actually showed me some positive things against Arizona. They weren't as healthy, so there's some context to that too. No Connor, no left tackle. Do they deliberately go into that game doing more Kyler Murray runs? Because they didn't until the fourth quarter.
Right.
So with Arizona, I feel like, okay, I've seen you do it. But What about if you go up against L.A., where L.A. does a lot of east-west stuff? They don't really run with their quarterback, but they can run downhill with Sony Michel. So that would make me pause a little bit. But I'm not going to flip it off of this game because you were without a lot of your players over there. Granted, not up front, but still, if you have a Anthony Brown, Trayvon Diggs, maybe you do things differently up front to maybe combat what was happening. I think most of today was schematic. I just do. When I was looking, maybe I go back and I'll watch the All-22. It seemed very – I'm going to go this way. They found a seam on the backside and then cut back and nobody was there type thing, as opposed to getting mauled, if that makes sense.
Yeah, early on in that game, I saw some mauling.
You saw some mauling?
I saw some mauling early on in that football game from guys that shouldn't be getting mauled by backup offensive line.
I got to watch it.
And again, we always say this.
We haven't seen,
Guys, we literally hit go
as soon as it was over.
As the game is over.
And I'm going to be real with you. By like half of that game, I was like,
We're watching the game in
yeah.
a bar, right?
And it was
have context with us as
it
well.
was over after a while. And
Come see us Monday or Tuesday when we had a chance to kind of
Yeah.
digest the game, break it down, watch it again. These are our raw emotions that we get. You know, we try to be as accurate as we possibly can,
Right.
but we don't have the rewind button. We don't. We're literally in the middle of a bar, like we're literally in the middle of a brewery.
But I will side with you in that in the postseason, if you run into a Kyler again and they do East-West stuff, if you run into a 49er team that can run the ball and do a lot of East-West stuff, and even with the Rams, they do some of that ghost motion pre-snap window dressing stuff. That's the one thing that does make me say, okay, they can get got, because I've seen it happen this year, even with Micah, by the way, as Denver did it. So I've seen them get got, but I still have immense confidence with a healthy defense, with a fully loaded defense that they can carry this Cowboys team through the playoffs. When I say carry, I don't mean this ain't the 49 or this ain't the Ravens of 2001, right? This ain't the Doomsday Cowboys of the 70s. This ain't the 84 Bears. That's not what I mean.
Right.
There is no great defense like that in the league today. What I mean is I can count on them for a game or two if I need them to kind of hold us tight while the offense gets it right, or hey, this might be a 21-17 type of ugly game, but you held them 17, our offense wouldn't score the game-winning touchdown.
Yeah, I
still feel good.
I pray that Micah Parsons is never off the field for us again.
Oh, they got exposed today. I mean, we knew about LVE for the most part, right? Keanu Neal, whatever. But they got really exposed tonight. I like Lou Gifford tonight, though.
Yeah, you know, and please elaborate on that, because you made a really good point on a guy like Luke Gifford, who's not a household name, who's not a guy who gets many reps, but his ability to do what he does at that position, because he's actually that position.
He's that position. And what I was saying was Keanu Neal's not a linebacker. Luke Gifford is not a linebacker. Well, if you say, well, LV's a linebacker, yeah, LV's a linebacker, but he's not as smooth as a Luke Gifford and fluid as a Luke Gifford. So I think Luke, I don't know how many snaps he played. I'll go back and look, but I feel like Luke Gifford was probably your best linebacker today. And that's with the interception that LVE got at the end of the game. But and this is for those who know me.
That was a Trayvon game.
What do you mean?
That was a Trayvon game for LVE.
Yeah, for the PFF people out there, right? Yeah, you know, he got a pick, but he gave up. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. Don't do that to Trayvon, though.
I'll be here all week.
Don't do that to my boy.
Nah, I won't.
Because
if you take away all his interceptions, then
if you take away all his interceptions, he give up all these touchdowns. Yeah. Don't get me started with that, please.
Nah, you got me started in the pregame show, so it's only right.
You did, but then we be here for a long time. We
don't.
Okay, all right.
Okay, I got you.
I'm just saying. Let me see where he was at. So LVE had 6 tackles a day. Luke Gifford, 4 tackles. Yeah, 4 tackles a day. So, you know, I felt like he showed up for those young guys that we asked about. Kelvin Joseph seemed to play a little bit better in the second half. DeMonte KZ's not a young guy, but he was all over the field, but not in a great way sometimes. He was making the tackles downfield. Keanu Neal had 5 tackles. Neville Gallimore made some good plays. Nashawn Wright was active today. But, again, just defensively, I'm not really looking at this game and coming away like, yeah, to me it's offensively is what I wanted to see, because I always felt confident in the defense going into the playoffs. But coming into this game, I'm like, hey, man, give me what you can give me, because you don't got your boys out there. That's how I looked at it.
Defensively, I'm still concerned, like after this game.
Really?
Yeah. Because you gave up 26 points.
The trenches.
To.
Oh, well, don't count that last touchdown, man.
Why not?
It was a minute and 17 seconds left. I don't even know who was on the – I'll be honest with you. I don't even know who was playing at that point.
All right, so we're going to go 21
20 points. 20 points.
20 points.
Yeah.
That's still a lot to give up to an entire second-string offense. And your starters played majority of that game. And because my thinking is I'm saying, and you're right, maybe things are schemed up differently. You blitz more, you run blitz more, you send more guys. Of course, you don't have Micah, and that's I already knew it, but watching this game today just doubly confirmed it. That this dude is a complete eraser. Like, he is a complete eraser. He is to defense what Aaron Rodgers is to like an offense. That he can cover up your mistakes on both ends, in the front and on the back end, because he can get home to the quarterback when you send him on the blitz. And
cover now too.
There's a play. There was a play that number 16 Watkins. he made to convert a third down, and he caught it on a shallow cross, and he broke one tackle. He was already at the first down line, came back, and then ran across and outran everybody to the first down line. But he stiff-armed Leighton Vander Esch. And I say to myself, if that's Micah Parsons, son just messed up. Like because Mike is going to bring you down, and you're going to lose. You wouldn't have got the first down.
Yeah.
And so it's things like that just go as a missed tackle. I'm like, man, that was Micah. That thing would have been erased.
But Micah's going to be there.
I know.
And I think I'm going to keep shining a light on this. Jaron Kearse is extremely important in what this defense wants to do because not only is the green dot guy, but he may be your most versatile player not named Micah Parsons. And in a way, maybe he is on par. And I know it's going to sound crazy. What you mean? Micah could be a all-pro pass rusher and all-pro linebacker. That's not what I mean. Jaron Kearse is asked to play deep safety. He's asked to play strong safety. He's asked to go be in the slot. He's asked to cover the tight end. He's asked to play linebacker. So he's asked to do a lot of things. So it may not be Micah, but he may be your most important player in regards to asking him to be all over the place on that back seven. He's definitely your most important guy in the back seven, right? I mean, I know Diggs is Diggs, but I mean, he's a green dot guy.
I get no.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, he's extremely
You're not saying that he's better than Diggs. You're saying his versatility is so vital to what they want to do defensively.
So he was out. So you got two of your most important players out in Micah and Jaron. Oh, by the way, you got an all-pro corner who didn't play as well. So that's why, to me, I'm not really coming out of this game worried about the defense, but I'm going into the postseason acknowledging their flaws. But they were flaws that I've always felt that they can get got if they run up into a team like that. And that's east-west stuff and getting, I don't want to say owned at the line of scrimmage, but having trouble at the LOS. But you got to think, too, like Micah's not just an eraser at the second level. Micah will help your D-line out, too, from the linebacker position, right?
Yeah.
Like, he'll fill a gap or he'll be a guy that makes you cut back into a DeMarcus Lawrence or into a Bash Armstrong or Dorrance Armstrong or Terrell Bash.
Yeah, you got them together. One player.
Yeah. So if he's there, if Kearse is there, Anthony Brown, Trayvon Diggs, I'm good.
Okay. All right. We can go with that.
Yeah, I feel I'm just glad they dropped the 50 burger on these bums. That's all. Yeah, I didn't want them to come in here and play with your food, as they say. Right?
Finish your food.
Finish your food.
Don't play with it.
And that's what they did. As for, and I'm not even going to get on the Philadelphia.
Even if it's like an eagle or raccoon or possum or something in the country.
Or cardinal.
Or cardinal.
Or a ram.
Or a rabbit. I don't know.
Any of those birds we fit into play next
country
week.
Hillbilly delicacies.
Let's look at, let me see here. Oh, before we go, let's just have the final conversation about that kicker, man. If you want to talk about a concern, that is the concern going in, right? And again, he's Voldemort. We'll not say his name, but the kicker.
Voldemort?
Yeah, he's Voldemort from, what was it? You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
No, that shall not be named.
It is beyond a concern at this point in time.
You want to talk about being worried.
And he got to know where the bodies are buried. He has to have some naked photos of Mike McCarthy and Bones Fossil. Like, is he dating Jerry's? Let me not say that because Jerry will hear this and then be really mad at me. But is he in the family business somehow, some way? Is he a part of the family? Is he?
Bones adopted him or something.
It's ridiculous, and it's one of those things where you're like, oh, don't worry about it now. They try to make this will. I have a feeling this will cost us.
That's what I'm worried about more than anything. And it's funny because it was just one. It was an extra point, but it's that extra point that can come back and bite you. And if there was anything to be concerned about coming out of here, it's him because he needed some mojo going into that game too.
Yep.
He just missed a field goal last week that cost the Cowboys. You know what I mean? So that's really, honestly, I'm more worried about him going in than I am about the D. And I feel, it's my words here, I saw what I wanted to see out of the offense, and that's the ball go in the hoop. That's what I wanted to see. I'm not going to take too much of it moving forward because of the context with the team you played, but they needed this moving forward, Jesse, and I'm just glad we got it.
I want to be delicate in saying this, and I don't want to come off as insensitive. But was the injury to Michael Gallup a blessing in disguise?
Trust me, man. I've been fighting this for the last few weeks. I've been fighting the same feeling. I've been fighting, how do I say this without sounding insensitive?
Right.
I feel bad that he got hurt, But I do think that having Seth Wilson and Blake Jarwin back into this offense will have a domino effect that makes this offense run smoother. You know, I couldn't find the words on my show. Maybe you could find it better. But I felt like when you had Michael Gallup, you had CeeDee Lamb. We talked about this in the pregame. Mm-hmm. You had CeeDee Lamb essentially playing out of position in the slot. Not saying he can't do it, but he's now running routes you would run on the outside from a slot position that I think will benefit from a guy that can do what Sed can do.
So when you and I want people to have a little bit clearer context when you say certain things. And when you talk about CeeDee Lamb playing in the slot, he is playing out of position. And it makes it a lot different when you just say, oh, he gets in the slot and he runs a deep over, or he runs, he runs a middle of the field, open and close kind of seam route. Like, that's easy stuff to run. But the art of route running, there is a distinct difference to just being able to run a route. A lot of guys can just run a route, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're running the route the right way. Because when you're in the slot, you have to understand the difference about when you see those good slots. I was in New England with Wes Welker, and I got a chance to watch Wes Welker work the slot. I was in Cincinnati with a guy named T.J. Hushmanzada, who was working the slot.
And who's your mama?
Yes. And there's this subtlety that comes along with running these type of routes. You have to understand, okay, where am I at in coverage? Right? Where's the coverage at, and where am I at in the quarterback's read? Because if his read is going outside over here back to where I'm at the slot, then I can't run my route 100 miles an hour.
Right.
You see guys like Cooper Kupp and Cole Beasley and Hunter Renfrow. Yeah. Well, they'll come off sometime, and it seems like they're walking or taking a small trot because they're saying, if I rush this route, when he comes back to me, I'm covered again.
You run into the coverage.
You run into the coverage. So I have to pace myself, take my time, understand what the coverage is giving me, understand what these underneath players are playing at, and then be able to run that route with the perfect timing that when he comes back to me, I'm breaking out now, or I'm breaking in now, to where that separation is there, where I can make a play, make one guy miss. And it's so key because once I make the one guy miss, the coverage is already lifted.
Right.
So now I have another 8, 9, 10 yards to play with to gain yak yards or to make moves or whatever.
He's getting that yet.
And I think with CeeDee Lamb, he doesn't quite understand just how to run routes
from that spot.
With that tempo, with that type of patience. And so when you say he's out of position, it's not that he's saying, oh, he can't play, or CeeDee Lamb. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it takes a different type of approach to run routes from the slot than it does from running routes on the outside.
I mean, look at his big plays last year from there and big plays from the slot this year. They're downfield.
Yeah.
He's running mostly outside routes in the slot because that's what he does.
Right.
And I said this on the show this week. I said by the domino effect of the injury, I think, is going to be, in essence, a blessing in disguise because it now forces Kellen Moore to put CeeDee Lamb, who is an X or Z receiver, at X or Z, and put Amari Cooper as he can do everything, but whatever. He can stay on the outside, and now Cedric Wilson can do a bunch of things for you. He can run the ghost motion. He can run the at-snap motion, the jet sweeps, the real slot routes. We talked about a route that he scored on. Matter of fact, it was the route that Seth Wilson scored on. They just would have never did that with Michael Gallup.
Right. They
would have put him out there at X and told him to run to the end zone, or he would have been the pick man for a CeeDee Lamb.
Right.
But that can set things up. We've seen it be set up. We've seen Sed come across, then he'll fade back, they throw it, and he runs a trick play off of it, and he just makes your defense have to prepare for more.
Right.
He's not running just 3 routes.
Gotcha.
No offense to Michael, but he's running a fly, a comeback, or a slant. Pretty much what he's doing. So, yeah. And at this point now, Jesse, I don't think I want to even say it. I'm going to say it with my chest. I think Cedric Wilson is better for this offense. Period.
Gotcha. Can we wrap this up? I got to use the bathroom so bad, bro.
Like,
I should use the bathroom before. I got to pee so bad. Can we wrap this up?
It's supposed to only be like 10, 15 minutes.
I know.
Hey, Cowboys Nation, we out of here, man. This has been the Game Day Live post-game show presented by Freeman Mazda. Come on back next week for the playoffs. I'm going to hold him here as long as I possibly can.
Yeah, come on. I'm going to pee on myself.
All right, Cowboys Nation, we out of here.